We are currently in the final days of 2025 and we are about to go into 2026. So I thought today we should go over, or I rather should go over my objectives for 2026. And I also just wanted to have a little bit of a talk about systems. Um, so we'll get started with objectives first. So the first objective is self-care one, which is going to bed at 9:30. For most nights, there's just going to be nights where I cannot go to bed at 9:30 straight on the dot. But for 95% of the time, 95% of nights, I want to be going to bed at 9:30 p.m. And that number, 90, at least 95%, is going to be sort of an occurring theme with my objectives, which brings a, and obviously going to bed at 9:30 p.m. is to fix my sleep. The next one is that is very related to this one, but it's going to be waking up at 6 p.m. Again, there's going to be mornings where I just cannot do that. The idea is that I should actually I really need to rewrite that because the objective is that I need to be waking up before 6 a.m. or at least before the alarm goes off. If the alarm, I don't want to be waking up to the alarm. I want to be waking up before the alarm, or at least just a little bit before the alarm. I'm not talking about like 2 hours, because that's not very good. But like 10 or 20 minutes before the alarm goes off. And the reason is that if I am waking up to the alarm or because of the alarm, that says that I didn't actually get enough sleep. I didn't get the whole sleep that I wanted, that I should have got. Whereas if I wake up a little bit before the alarm goes off, then that means I've gotten the right amount of sleep. I mean, I'm not an expert on sleep or anything, but I feel that that's correct. The next thing that next objective is a writing goal, which is that I want to be writing 1,000 words a day on average. I say average because there's going to be some days where I just cannot write 1,000 words, but there's also going to be days where I can write a lot more than 1,000 words. So I rather just rather have that number as an average. So like in 1 month, I should be running around 30,000 words. In 2 months, I should be running around 60,000 words, if that makes sense. So it's like an average. Then there's just some fitness goals. So I want to be increasing muscle mass by 1 kilo a month, and I also want to be losing 1 centimeter of my waistline. So I want to be building a lot of muscle mass, but I also want to be I do have a bit of body fat percentage. My body fat percentage I do want to decrease. So I'm sort of like, I think that's what they refer to as skinny fat, where like you don't really have much muscle mass, but you're also quite you're a little bit fat. Yeah. So and I want to change those two things going into 2026. So that's and and I have a whole system of how I'm going to approach that. Obviously that has to do with like dieting and making sure I'm working out consistently and all of that, and also tracking my macros and all of that fitness mumbo jumbo. Then it's just some financial goals. I just want to make sure that I'm tracking my finances. I also want to sort of skill up on I guess read up, or what's the word, like get better with my like knowledge and understanding of finance and shares and all of that sort of stuff. I want to become more savvy with that. Just also like upgrading. The other thing I want to do, I want to get better with cooking. I'm not sure. You can't really like measure like how I don't think I can really measure like how good you are as a cook, but like I just want to make like I know increase my skills with cooking. Yeah, so that's just one of the objectives. And also there's some dating stuff and relationship stuff. I'm not going to share that for obvious reasons. I also want to like optimize hormones and increase testosterone levels. Um, I'm not an expert, obviously. I'm not an expert, but I don't really know much about testosterone. I'm trying to study it. Because I mean, I don't know my numbers, but I would imagine they're very, very low, considering that I'm 29 and I still sound like a pubescent teenager, prepubescent, really. Um, so I, yeah, that's something I really need to work on going into the new year. And also the last objective is just to make sure that I'm checking in with myself and to see how I'm going with all these objectives, if I'm actually taking action and all of that. If that'll just be a way of keeping myself accountable. The next thing, I guess, the next thing I do after I wrote the objectives is I rewrite the objectives but as goals. So I want to make sure that I'm focusing on objectives rather than goals, but I also think it's good to have just to have a list of goals, um, just to make sure that can just to compare your to keep so just to compare myself to where I am right now to where I want to be. Um, I guess the next thing I want to talk about is systems. I'm not sure if I wrote my systems down here. This is just a little book I keep. I write my systems. Please tell me I wrote my systems. Oh, I don't think I have. Oh yeah, I have wrote my systems. So obviously it's sort of like this is pretty much a repeat of what I've already said, but there's some more stuff. So go to bed early, 9:30 p.m. Already talked about that. Get up early before 6 a.m. Already talked about that. I want to be opening blinds, making my bed, work out for 1 hour, work out 4 times a week. So that will be about obviously 4 hours a week. Um, I want to make sure that I'm hydrating more. Um, hi, I don't think I'm hydrating. Don't think I'm drinking enough water. Um, consuming food that optimizes hormones. Already talked about that. Take. I want to be taking things one day at a time. So we're not getting stressed about what is like. Because if I look at the big picture and I don't really. What happens if I think I get become very daunted by things and I don't. That's why I don't take action. So I want to sort of focus on just taking one day at a time. Um, good skincare. So I want to make sure that because I have you probably can't tell on camera, but I have really not good skin, and I really want to make an effort this year to like actually improve the quality of my skin. I want to focusing on the current tasks. I guess that's what we talked about before about taking one day at a time. Learn new skills like editing skills and a bunch of other skills. Um, practice delayed gratification. So not s- stopping instant gratification by like I mean I can make a full video about that. I don't really want to go into that here, but yeah, I really want to make sure that I'm stepping away from instant gratification and more focusing on delayed gratification. Um, which leads me to the next point. I want to decrease like content consumption. So usually social media consumption, mostly video. I don't really go on like Instagram very often, but I will. I spend a lot of time on YouTube, specifically YouTube Shorts. So what I want to do is just to decrease the watch time of YouTube. Um, so the next one, track finances a week. We already talked about that. Track fitness and um, track food intake, I guess, and just I'm making it. We already talked about that. So those are my systems. I guess some of that you could like translate into like a morning routine or and as well as a night routine. I'm not gonna make. I do. It would be nice to make I guess, to make like one of those nice morning routine videos. I just not quite there yet. But maybe. Um, and also, I guess I also want to be like making sure I'm making use of a diary, that I'm actually writing things down and I'm like planning things out, and I'm not just I have a clear set mind of what I need to do each day, rather than just sort of like rolling out of bed and sort of like going through the motions. Um, yeah. So that is pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I guess the other things that I wanted to say is that I will be doing like I guess a 30-day challenge, or rather 31-day challenge, because January has 31 days. Where I will be focusing on essentially for the next 30 days. I did briefly mention that I did want to decrease media consumption. So for the whole of January, I will be setting a challenge for myself that for the whole of January that I need. So no, we will not be listening to any, not deliberately listening to any music. Um, I can listen to ambience and stuff like that, but no sort of like commercial music. Um, no like pop music or EDM or anything like that. No rock music. Um, for January, and the other thing is that no YouTube. Um, no YouTube for 30 days. Actually, with some exceptions, but we're not going to be like watching any like drama videos or anything like that. It's just only for educational purposes, and even then, are going to be very strict. So yeah, so no, I've done this challenge before. I tried to do it last month for November. I did like a no noise November. I tried to do a no noise November, but I just couldn't. So I'm going to be doing it in January. So I guess I'm doing sort of my own version of dry January. But because I don't actually drink alcohol, there's no real point of doing dry January. So I'm going to be doing dry January, but instead of alcohol, it's going to be social media, or it's going to be YouTube and music. I guess like taking, I guess January. I also want to be, really homing in on like diet and exercise and all of that. So that's pretty much all I have to say. And also, I just want to, one more thing. I also want to be making sure that I'm documenting this sort of, I guess, this process. I want to make sure that I'm going to be documenting. I want to document the next 6 months, where I want to make a video every day on me just doing a little bit of an update about like where I am with fitness and stuff like that. So like documenting the process of what's it like how am I feeling, um, and also like holding myself accountable. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I know I kept saying, oh yeah, I'm done, but there's something else, but I think I'm done for now. So yeah, so just to wrap things up, um, those are my objectives, those are my systems, and I'm also going to be doing like a 31-day challenge. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in 2026. Let's go.